Hey, good morning, evening, afternoon. Masada here. I'm actually here in LA, where I'm at the Conscious Life Expo, or maybe Unconscious Life Expo. Not exactly sure. And we'll talk about that in just a second, because we'll talk about on today's Masadi on Sunday, Life Explained on spiritual narratives, the conventional spiritual narratives, and what you can do to protect yourself. We'll talk about that. Good morning, good evening from Singapore. There's people all over the world, so thanks for listening in. As a reminder, please join and subscribe to this channel. Highly, highly important, because we got to get this movement, becoming exponentially intelligent. Uh, Talking about that, government systems, technological companies. It's like, yeah, if we do this product, then it'll save the world. If we did this, it'll save the world. I don't know if they're trying to, thinking that actually that will save the world, or it's more of a profit mechanism for them. But to really save the world, we have to raise consciousness. Because if you look back in the day, no matter what's happened, people have been kind, benevolent, um, um, benevolent ideologies, love everybody, and all that. Shit, it hasn't worked out. It just hasn't worked out. What do we need? What's the missing link? Well, the XI code. XI code, raising your XIQ to elevate your consciousness. And that way, it's not what you're doing, it's literally what level of consciousness that you're doing it at. And that's where Alba Blue from El Salvador, welcome. Croatia. Ooh, I was talking to somebody. I might actually do an event in Croatia here. So that's kind of cool. Denmark, it's beautiful, guys. But again, the key is that, and even in your life, no matter what you've done in the past, it doesn't really matter. It's the consciousness that you did it in. How many of you have gone, with say a couple, or your soulmate that you just didn't resonate with anymore, or a group that you just didn't resonate with anymore, and you could have done something really, really fantastic. Whether it's like a medicine journey or just a ski vacation, or whatever else, but the vibe wasn't there, and no matter what you did, shit, it wasn't that great, right? It just wasn't that great. Why? Because the consciousness, the two vibes didn't really connect. The consciousness wasn't there, and it wasn't a good time. And that's what we're finding out. Again, it's not the glamour, it's not the glitz, it's not your intelligence, it's not nothing to do with that. It literally is the consciousness that you create yourself in. And as you render yourself in that higher level consciousness, by clearing out the stuff that's not you, your genetic patterns, your hereditary patterns, um, that goes more than skin deep. Your societal patterns, your generational patterns, your life patterns. Get rid of that crap, and then you can become exponentially intelligent and elevate yourself. All right, that's a great theme that we're going to do now is talk about actually a quite powerful discussion that will challenge, say, conventional spiritual and religious narratives. Okay, and then elevate you to a new level of discernment and self mastery. Like I said, by the way, just remember to subscribe and like this channel. So this content, or this Life Explained on Masati on Sunday, is spiritual discernment, seeing beyond the illusions. Okay. Now, there's a lot of religion, there's a lot of spirituality, there's a lot of, say, kindness, and all those things. Those are all based on, spiritual concepts or religious concepts. And and those concepts might not be of the purest. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to unveil the true frequencies of spiritual leaders. And by the way, um, kind of getting in there, but with my abilities, I can read anybody what their frequency is. So it's not surface level stuff that I tap into, but their underlying intent or their underlying frequency. Now, that might sound confusing for those who are new. And again, we get a lot of new people every day on this channel. Thank you so much. But those who are XIers, do you notice, comment in, do you notice the difference? Somebody could be saying this to you and it's all good, but what's the underlying intent? Politicians do it really well. right? But politicians can't hide it anymore. They say the right perfect words, but it's like, what do they really mean? And then behind that, what's the frequency behind what they're trying to hide to tell you what they're really saying? So how many of you become exponentially intelligent are starting to see the underlying value structure of people when they talk to you? And it's like, I know, I can see where they're coming from. Again, it's not an underlying intent. It literally is their frequency. That's what's important. Their essence, their presence of who they are, what they brought about, all their family bullshit that's behind what they're saying. A lot of you going, yep, yep, exactly. Saying one thing and another. So that's cognitive dissonance, Christina, and that's true. But they're saying one thing, they have an underlying intent. Okay. So that's cognitive dissonance. This is frequency dissonance, where their frequency is not, say, right. They're coming from, say, the wrong, say, dimension of time and space. Okay. They're in a dark place, let's say, but they pretend to be of a higher value physically. And this is where we get really, really confused. Okay. So unveiling the truth, we're going to go down and later on, before I scan you all, right, to tell you, where we went wrong spiritually and religiously. Before I scan you all, we'll just do a little bit on like spiritual leaders that you might know. So just hold that comment till later on, till I ask you. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So, unveiling the true frequency of spiritual leaders. So in this case, many spiritual teachers, gurus, and healers unknowingly or intentionally operate from distorted frequencies. Okay. So, what does that mean? So, this means that um, this means that I got a lot of excitement on people going to Croatia. So, yeah, let's do it. So what this means is that they might be practicing the proper thing here. They might be doing all the ceremonies right. They might have that love in their heart and so on. But unknowingly, in this case, unknowingly, they're practicing a dark art. Okay. For example, you might be practicing a dark art celebrating Christmas, because celebrating Christmas is basically based on well, not the best of frequencies. Right? It doesn't come from a pure frequency. It comes from pagan rituals. Many of those pagan rituals, because they wanted to get Christmas alongside paganism, because a lot of people practice paganism. And then they went, well, you know, we'll just put Christmas right alongside, so you can just transfer over. So that transfer over, that's the problem. People transfer over, they might have let go of the physical, say, construct of paganism, but a lot of the teachings, a lot of the initiations are of like pagan ancestry, and that's what you don't want. A lot of the religious standards, a lot of the religious, the rosary beads, for example, that is from a pagan concept. By the way, it's not from Mother Mary or anything like that. So when you pull things over, and just to get a little deeper, how many of you inherited things and then became exponentially intelligent? Okay, so you inherited your grandma's, beautiful, emerald necklace, which is fantastic. It's beautiful, worth a lot of money. It looks great on you, but then your grandma had heart issues or diseases and pain and burden in her life. That crystal holds the memories of your grandma and her diseases and her issues. You wear it, you start to morph into your grandma. And I know there's people out there. How many of you have done that? Okay, this is a great question. Why is paganism bad? Beautiful question. Right? And I'll give you the XI answer to it, not the religious, because it's like you're going to go to hell if you're not. Okay, so paganism, let's just drop it down to science. Okay, okay. Why is paganism bad? Just because human science is not the best, just because human concepts is not the best. That's paganism. right? Your the sciences that people adhere to, okay? The sciences that we are all say drawn into or considered. It's not at a say consciousness level, the consciousness level of nature. Okay, it's not a God concept. Okay? And I think that's what you're getting wrong. God defined by religions, okay, by the spiritual teachings, by spiritual definitions. That's all bullshit. That's why those the religions don't work, and that's why say your science doesn't work, your education system, all those things are literally pagan rituals, right? And the reason why, because you're not, again, it's not a God thing, it literally is, you're not connecting, you're not learning from billions or trillions of years of evolutionary process, right? You're not connecting to that one source, that intelligence that created this reality. And it's taken again billions of years to prove itself over and over and over. The reason why you're here is because of those billions of years of technology and understanding to get you to, well, a level to create an unbelievable organism called the human body. Okay, that's the intelligence that I'm talking about. Not a godhead, not a mean old guy with a beard looking down at you and going, "Fuck," you know, SM here, fucked up her life and she's gonna go to hell. Not that kind of bullshit. That's where we got distorted. So again, paganism is not just say a religious teaching. It literally is a distortion of what you are learning from. Okay, learn from the source, the pure source. This is what Jesus said. There's a lot of people that are going to be coming out with amazing healing potential. Do what Jesus said. Said anybody can heal you, but make sure they heal you from the light, right? Or God. In his definition of God is like, make sure they can heal you no matter who it is from the concepts, from the science of nature, natural intelligence. Okay, you've got artificial intelligence. You know what that is, right? Man creating say concepts, parallels to, and then we use AI, like ChatGPT and so on. By the way, I created a fantastic ChatGPT that's highly intelligent. So you've got artificial intelligence, okay? You've got human intelligence, you've got natural intelligence. Anything that's pagan, right? Again, science, your foods that you eat, for example, the genetically modified foods, that's a pagan science and it's destroying you. It literally is the same thing as practicing dark arts or getting into, say, cults, because they destroy you, they control you, they don't connect you to your higher self of who you can be. They distort your potential of who you are, right? That is that definition of paganism. All right. All right. So unintentionally or intentionally, there's a lot of people who create intentionality behind what they do. They use, say, the pagan arts to control you and destroy you. Fefe was just talking to me about, like paganism, not paganism, but dark arts. Like in the movies nowadays, what they think, like if I tell them what we're gonna do to you, then they're not gonna go to hell. Okay. So even those dark people who practice dark arts, they still believe in hell. And this is what they say. And this is where some of the movie trailers, some of the movies that you go, they literally are telling you, a year or two before they did the coronavirus, there was movies about a virus taking over. There was a game that you could play on, like what's the fastest way you can spread a virus throughout the world. It was crazy, crazy shit. They tested all that stuff, and then they brought in that virus. That's paganism, right? Anyway, so what they think is like if they tell you what they're going to do and you agree to it or you get hypnotized into it, then it's not their fault. And that at some sort it's true because you are running a victim type frequency. So this is about helping you. This content here on Saudi on Sunday is about helping you decipher what's true and what's not. Okay. And it goes beyond say, well, this guy is practicing a pyramid on his head, and this guy is not. I actually see that at this expo. That's why I'm saying this. Again, it's not about the pyramid. It's about the frequency of the person behind it. Okay? So where did they come from? All right. So take a breath in. We'll make this experiential session for you. Notice your soul, notice your heart. All right. So yeah, intentionally or unintentionally, people practice dark arts. Right? A lot of, say, religions have turned dark. Say, for example, you in your religion, you, again, what about Reiki? Again, guys, or your religion, it's not about the religion or what you're practicing. Okay. It's about the frequency behind the person, or if you're a channel, right? There's a lot of gurus, teachers that channel something. What are they channeling? Right? First of all, channeling is not the best, even if it's of a pure sort. Right? Some people go, "Well, I channeled Jesus." No, you don't. Jesus, those frequencies do not allow to be channeled. Right? You're focusing, say, an intermediate type person. So, so be mindful of that. All right. So again, many spiritual teachers, gurus, and healers unknowingly or intentionally operate from distorted frequencies. Right? And again, it's the frequencies, not what they practice. And this is what confuses you. Some create dependency rather than self mastery, keeping followers in cycles of belief rather than transformation. Okay. So what that means is if you are, say, dependent, right? If they tell you that, hey, you need to keep practicing what I teach you, you need to keep doing what you need to do. You need to, pray. You need to go to, mass. You need to cleanse yourself every whatever. Again, it's not about that, but you need to do it this way. You need to do it in a religious or spiritual way, right? That is where you create dependency. If you don't do it this way, then you're going to go to hell, right? So that's the problem. They set a standard for you. Okay? Some people actually think, and I'm going to do this cult thing because some of you, and by the way, who's done that, right? You join me, you get fantastic results, and then your spouse or your partner go, "Hey, did you join a cult?" Because you're so into it, right? Kind of crazy, right? So in this case, dependency rather than self mastery. Again, some create dependency rather than self mastery. You have to buy my books. You have to do this and that. You really don't. With XI, you really don't do that because XI, exponential intelligence, really helps you become sustainable on your own. Once you get to a certain point where you know the tools and you have a great substructure, again, XI doesn't teach you how to think. Actually, XI teaches you how to think, not what to think. And that's really the difference. Very simply put, right? We're not here to teach you what to think. This is right, this is wrong. Have you ever noticed that? I've never taught you, oh, Moss, is this good or that bad? Like, well, what are you getting? What are you benefiting from it? So here's the deal. Very, very simply put, if it's distorting you and compressing you, right, it's not a good thing for you. Simple as that. If it's distorting you, compressing you, you are giving up your power to access your power, that is not good for you. Simply put, and write this down, guys. You are giving up your power to some external source so they can give you power to do what you want. Think about that. Your religions, you are sacrificing your essence of who you are. And this goes deeper than religions. This is about your success mechanisms. You sacrifice, look at all the famous people. Look at like P. Diddy and all the shit that's coming up, right? Extreme. They sacrificed what they want, they gave away what they want. Okay. So whoever, say, whoever gave them like P. Diddy's power and influence and so on, it's like, here, take my essence, the real stuff of who I am, and you give me back physical power and fortune and fame. How many of you done that? not that at that extreme level. It's like, gosh, you know what? I'll do anything to love that person. I'll do anything to love my kids. Same thing, just different levels. You don't want to do that. You really don't want to do that. So whether it's you giving away your power, or you go to a healer, and this is how they catch you. It's like, well, this person, I went to them, and I got healed somehow. They must have power. Yeah, they must have power. But then watch how your life elevates higher, or does it go cycle downwards? Okay. Now there's a detox mode, but after you finish detox, did you go higher, or did you cycle downwards? Right. So you want to be sure. So through exponential intelligence, learn to recognize whether someone is operating from a pure connection to source, or from ego, trauma, or hidden agendas. All right. So let's break that down. Look at the healer. Look at the person that you're getting healed from. It's like going to a huge, fucking fat doctor and going, hey, you know what, I can show you how to lose weight. It's like, well, fuck, if your modality is so good, why aren't you losing the weight? Right. So think of that. I mean, think of that example. Look at your healer. Look at them. Do they look healthy to you? Okay. Do they look do they look at their facial features? Is there an essence? Some people call it, what is it, prana, Indian, right? Is there essence flowing? Do they feel good? Do they feel youthful to you? Okay. Thanks, born again. It's like xi, another word for Christ. It's literally all the same. Okay. Do do they practice what they preach? Are they an angel on stage, and then a total dickhead, behind stage to their family members and so on, like that, right? Um, there was a great motivational speaker, not a spiritual, but a great motivational, Dennis, not Dennis Waitley. Who's that guy that was an alcoholic? Pepe? Um, that passed away. Shit. I'll think of it. Yeah, Wayne Dyer, right? Wayne Dyer. He, again, millions of golden nuggets that helped a lot of people. Okay. But he was still addicted to a lot of things. He's still very abusive to a lot of women, and to his family and so on, like that. It really didn't help him. So look at what they're teaching you, and look at what they're, say, practicing. By the way, what they teach you, okay, what they teach you might be good, but like I said, it's the underlying frequency that makes it worse. Okay. I'll give you a business example as well while we're here. Okay. So business example is like, you go to a mentor, they're alcoholic, and they abuse women. Okay. And you learn, they're your mentor. Okay. Not only did you learn how to make a lot of money, because you made a lot of money, but then later on, despite your family not having alcoholic traits or anything like that, or abuse, you start to abuse, the women around you, and you start to become alcoholic. Right? That's the point that I'm making. Right? There's a good number of you that have gone through business seminars, and you go, fuck, Moss, my whole identity has changed. I don't know what. I made a lot of money, but I'm a dickhead. And they actually acknowledge, like, what the hell's going on? It literally is a possession. Something else takes over you. Not entities or anything like that, but a consciousness that gets layered over you. And so your success is attached to, in this case, alcohol and abusing women. Okay. The more success you want, the more you'd have to you use and abuse women, and drink a lot of alcohol. Does that make sense to you? So put that into spiritual context. So again, be very mindful. Take a look at the healer and see their presence or essence. A lot of you who have been risen exponentially intelligent, how many of you start to go, God, you know what? That healer that's helping me, I'm actually helping them more than they are helping me. Right? So that's time to exit. Again, there's a lot of great healers out there. What you want to do through XI is like, okay, I see where they're coming from, but they've got really good technology here. I just want the technology, not the darkness behind it. So again, XI is not about don't go there because then it turns into another religion. XI is getting you stronger so you can they distinguish the good of what they're trying to teach you. Okay. So, and then the bad. So again, you can go to your therapist or anything like that, but learn what they're just absorb the physicalness, the surface layer of what they're telling you, not the distortion layer. And we do that through, gosh, we just finished up the 10-day power and healing. It was really, really fantastic. Okay, so distinguishing authenticity from distortion. So I kind of went through this already, but recognize the frequency of truth versus deception. Sense when teachings come from genuine connection or manipulation. Okay, so if they use a lot of words or they use a lot of fear tactics to get you to do something or get you to say something, you got to watch out for that. Okay. If they start to say displace you, disorient you, um, again, you got to watch out for that. Okay. Take a deep breath in. Many of you, because it's so confusing here, like who's telling the truth and who's not, right? You're using your cognition, you're using your brain, you're using your five senses, right? There's a lot of people who lie really well out there. They even have, say, an essence, like a sweet frequency around them. But just like one of those, just like one of those plants, right? They get you in and they trap you, right? So you got to watch out for that. Many of you have done that with love. How many of you have done that with love, right? It's like, oh, I thought this was such a sweet person, and also, and then once they got you, whether woman or man, right, they just totally destroy you. Gurus and teachers are like that as well. So just be mindful, be super mindful of that, right? So many of you are ex-sires, like the physicalness. Well, it's like they're wearing a lab coat, they're wearing a doctor's jacket, so they must be trustworthy, right? Same thing. Oh, they're wearing a robe because that's like an icon of a spiritually uh, benevolent person. They're wearing a robe. A lot of Indian gurus and stuff. They wear a robe. They wear long hair, and then they go, "Oh God, I'm spiritual," but they're fucked up. So you got to watch out for all those like misleading, concepts because those are superficial. And then you go to the psychology. It's like, I'm not getting a good vibe in it, but it's confusing it as well. The best way to do that is understand frequencies. And this is through XI. You raise your exponential intelligence, you naturally start to say move away from that. Again, how many of you who have gotten exponentially intelligent, there's a natural guidance system. It's like, I would have gone to that person back in the day, but I just know that they're going to be dark and they're going to fuck me up. I'm not even going there. How many of you have done that? Right? You've got like a natural GPS going. No, you don't want to go there. Right? Back in the day, you would have again commented. Crazy, right? So that's the level. That's the frequency that keeps you on track. All right, take a breath in. So you want to identify misleading influences, understand how even well-intentioned teachers can reinforce false spiritual paradigms. Right. So what that means is, again, they have good intent, and I'll give you a real example. Again, many of you, through healing mastery that we've done, many of you have realized that it's like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing to my clients and my kids, right? How many of you have gone through healing mastery? Again, we're still going through it, but started to realize, I was like, holy shit, this is what I've been doing to people. And it's like, yeah, you have. It's totally fine. Right? Once you realize it, again, you are forgiven of your sins as long as you awaken. All right. That's not my rule. That's the consciousness rule up there. All right. So think of it this way. And I'll give you a mother example or a parent example, and I'll give you a guru or a teacher example. All right. So a parent example is like they're doing all the right things. So there's so many parents, so many parents come to me and it's like, hey Moss, you know what, I treated my kids so well, I gave them the best education and gave them the best whatever, got them into the best colleges, and now they hate me. Okay. And I'm going, well, you know how many of you have gone through that? Or your parents go, God, I gave them the best intent, I sacrificed everything for them, and now they want to stay away from me. Right? Right. So on the spiritual side is like, you go to the spiritual teacher and they give you all these things. They just keep giving you. They're so kind to you. And it's like, gosh, you start to feel guilty. It's like, gosh, what are they doing? They're so kind. So in that scenario, what they're doing is like here, physically, they want to one, heal themselves. Second of all, again, spiritual teachers, they think the more they sacrifice themselves and they give that to you, the better it'll be for you. But in both cases, if you're sacrificing yourself to love somebody or to heal somebody, it's not a good thing. What they're doing is literally giving their distortions. It's like, here, take a piece of me and give them to you. Okay? So with kids, for example, parents, that kid, especially as they turns 18, around that time where you start to solidify, that kid goes, "Fuck, I'm going to turn into my parents. I don't want to fucking do that. No way." And they do not accept anything that you or you get from them. It's not what you're giving them physically. It's the frequency behind what you're giving them. So you have to really watch out for that, right? So whether it's a loved one, right? If you've been suffocated by love, for example, that's the frequency. Or if you've been, say, abused, if you don't do this, you're not going to get love. So if, there's teachers that go, hey, if you don't do practice my teachings, then you're going to go to hell. How many religions are like that? Holy shit, right? Divine atrocity. Actually, divine atrocity. We did that. Yeah, it's crazy, crazy stuff. What happened with divine atrocity? Whoa. So what you want to do is align with the right frequencies, shift away from external dependence, and connect directly to source frequency for guidance. Okay, I'll tell you a story. We went to, I think it's called Sacred Heart in France. It's a church, beautiful church, very well known worldwide. And back in the day, just checking out different places, we go there, and it's like, holy shit. And this is what this church does, and a lot of religions do this. Okay. Or a lot of, say, cult leaders and so on like that, what they do, okay, or spiritual teachers, even motivational teachers, they do the same thing, because it's not, oh, motivation, oh, spiritual, oh, I'm going to a health conference. It's got nothing to do with that. It's the underlying frequency. It's all the same, right? No matter what it is, it's literally all the same. The frequencies are all the same. What's their intent? Okay. So we went to Sacred Heart, and this is what they do at that church, or what they used to do at that church. All right. So take a breath in, and I'll help you release, say, the distortions of religion. Religions that shun you, absolutely, it's crazy shit, right? All right. So what they do is like, they'll give you, you go there, you're broken down, right? They give you like an ounce of blessings, right? And it's distorted because it's laced with something. It's like a trap. They give you an ounce of something, an ounce of goodness, an ounce of love, okay? And you go, oh my God, that feels so good, right? And then what they do is, as you go into the church, like, well, if you want more, then you have to do X, Y, and Z. You have to do this and that. And then what they do is, they give you an ounce, they take back a pound. They literally do that. The Vatican, by the way, same exact thing. I've been there. It's crazy. The Vatican's even crazier. In the front, it's like, I even almost got fooled by it. I went to the Vatican as well, and it's like, wow, this feels really good. I don't know what's wrong. It's like Catholic religion, not so bad. And I'm going, wow, this feels really good. And Faye and I is like, well, shit, let's go back at night, right? Where there's less crowd, because I really want to get into the Vatican, and the workings, and really see for myself. So we went in there, but this time we went deep into the chambers where they do the mass. And it's like, holy shit. The stand behind it, they got gargoyles and stuff. It's like, why would a religious, talking about spiritual, why wouldn't they have angels and all? Have you ever wondered that? They're literally telling you what's behind it. Why do they have gargoyles behind, what the Pope, where the Pope preaches? And as you get into that space, it's literally like these things started to come out and like literally consume you. It's like the Venus flytrap. Same thing with the Sacred Heart Church. You go in there, they take every time you go in, it's like they give you an ounce. By the time you leave, they've taken a pound out of you. This way, it's like, oh, it feels so good. But then why do I feel so bad afterwards? Because it took your essence away from you. If you feel that way, okay, detox is a little different, but if you feel that way, if you go to this healer and then it's like, shit, I feel like crap, and it just continues, right? There is a difference between detox. So some of you might, have a session with me and you feel like crap, but here's the difference. You feel like crap on the outside, but you're observing that you feel like crap, right? So there's a separation. And then that's the difference between XI detox and say other things. So you get stronger on the inside, you have more clarity, but your life might fall apart on the outside, or you feel like crap on the outside. But again, there is a distinction, there's a reference point. Right? That's an XI detox. Right? Or that's a nature detox. You go to nature, you get these realizations, you go back home, and nothing's the same. Right? So again, same thing. Spiritual uh, distinction here or distortion here is like, you go home, you feel really, really great, and then you feel like crap later on, and you think it's you. That's the difference. You think it's you. Okay? It's like, God, I must have done something wrong. I'm really fucked up. Shit, I must have sinned. All this stuff, right? And then you go back. Right? Again, so the detox, XI detox, is like, hmm, why do I feel like crap? Again, do you notice the distinction on even how you ask yourself? Like, why do I feel like crap? That wasn't there before. And you start to become aware of all the stuff that was like coming into you. So notice the difference. All right. All right. All right. So enhance to what you want to do is again through XI. Got a lot of stuff coming up for you. The human upgrade is really, really fantastic. Again, 10 days, guys, really, really great. Oh, thank you, Lola. I love your one-on-one clearings. It's like my rocket takeoff, even faster and faster. That's what you want to do, like Lola, right? It's like all the garbage, and I know Lola, just tapping into you again, hon. Holy shit, some of the stuff that she's gone through, crazy, crazy stuff. Sacrifices and all that spiritual stuff people do, right? Getting rid of all that. She didn't feel good, but she knew the difference. She knew the difference, and as she cleared up, it's like, oh, her natural presence and essence came in. Lola commented, and now she can tell the difference on holy hell. So she's gone through that holy hell type scenario. Okay, so what you want to do, just like Lola did, and many of you, you want to enhance your sensory awareness, not the five senses, but again, the frequency awareness. Okay, you do this through becoming exponentially intelligent. Other ways to do it is get into nature and observe nature. Right, observe kids who haven't been tainted. Simple. Okay, we just show you how to access what those kids access, what nature access. This helps you sharpen your ability to perceive subtle energetic or frequencies beyond surface appearance. You have to go beyond your five senses. Okay. Discern real wisdom from misleading narratives. Break free from spiritual group think, emotional manipulation, and charismatic illusions. So what this means, what this concept means, is literally that, you know, oh, it's like so and so is doing this fad now and everybody's loving it. Yeah, you want to think twice. I'm not saying fads are are bad or good. I'm just saying if you're going to take a fad, okay, do not take the concepts, frequencies behind it. For example, we do a new moon meditation here and there. The moon has a power. And again, physically it's seen, because the tides rise and so on, but there's a lot of, say, truths or mistruths about a full moon, right? People go crazy and so on. And I can understand physically, because your brain hormones, the water chemicals in your brain, people who are sensitive. So I understand that. But again, there's a lot of mythology behind like a new moon. So what we do with XI, it's like, okay, there's so many people believing in this. There's a momentum in a direction, and that momentum will take you far. But what we do with XI, because we're ninjas here, what we do with XI is like, shit, they're taking that momentum, they're taking a rocket ship to the wrong path. We're going to take that rocket ship, and as soon as we start to get momentum, because all we need is momentum to travel through space and time, we're going to get off. We're going to get off and just fly where we need to go. Okay. So again, and most spiritual thinks or teachers will go, don't do that because you're going to go to hell. You need to practice stay here. What we do is like, shit, become a ninja and you can use anything. Okay. to, again, ascend higher. So that's really the key. So group think, nowadays, tell you group think, a lot of people are getting back into psychedelics, right? Even the government is telling you, oh yeah, man, psychedelics are fantastic. Yeah, go do it. Okay. So, and then they're allowing psychedelics, right? It's legal now. You think, oh shit, they've awoken. I don't know. Pharmaceuticals are going to get into psychedelics, and then they're going to tell you. And again, I think, to me, that's the only reason why they legalize psychedelics, right? So pharmaceuticals can get into it because more people are doing psychedelics, illegally. It's like, well, fuck. Pharmaceuticals will go, man, I want a piece of that action. The lobbyists that they pay off the senators, whoever. It's like they paid millions of dollars. Like, fuck, man, legalize the psychedelics, and they go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, because we get a cut off it. Exactly. And then that's what they do, right? They legalize psychedelics, and it's like, oh, you need to buy this psychedelic because it's been medically proven. You don't want nature's psychedelic. It's been medically proven for trillions of years. You want our psychedelic because we lab tested it. All that bullshit. So you got to be mindful of that. All right. Do not go with the group think. If you are going to go with a group think, be an observer. This is like the mastermind. No matter what mastermind you're in, be an observer of the mastermind, not part of the distortions of the mastermind. Thank God for Bobby Kennedy. Absolutely. Whether you like him or not at a frequency level, whether you think his family is dark, and I totally agree with you. That's okay. So RFK, by the way. RFK, for example, a lot of you might not like it. I don't like their family dynamics and so on like that. But I don't like a lot of your family dynamics either. But I still help you out, right? The key is like, did you separate from your family dynamics and again create yourself a new? That's really cool. All right. So reclaim your power. Develop self mastery and operate from your own wisdom and connection to source. That's what you want to do. You want to reconnect to your own source. Okay. There should be nothing between you and your spiritual self, okay, your timeless self, and your time bound self. The less distortions, the less medium, middleman there is. Okay? Like some religions go, hey, you can't talk directly to God. You need to talk to me first. That's kind of weird because what did people do before that religion came about? You got to think about shit like that, right? So again, learn how to connect to your higher source. Forget about God. Okay, you wouldn't understand what God is about anyway. Okay, if you weren't, say, awakened, right? You'd get a very distorted version of it because of your filters. So what I'm saying again is elevate, elevate yourself without external interference. Connect again your timeless, your spiritual self to your physical self. The less filters there are in between, and some of those filters, again, teachings, erroneous teachings, genetic patterns, belief systems, ideas of who you think you are. For example, you're a man, you're a woman. Where did that definition of being a man and a woman come from? Ask yourself those questions. Where did your definition of being a good person come from? Where did your definition of love come from? If you think love is sacrificing something, love is painful, like this, I read this poem by Khalil Gibran, again, very famous poet. I'm going, fuck, that's a sacrificial love. For Valentine's Day, I'll put his poem, and again, beautiful poetry. Again, nothing wrong with poetry, the frequency behind it. It's about sacrifice and pain and so on. An XI version of that poem, and it's beautiful. It's like literally connecting, and you can feel the resonance with the XI poem. So really, really beautiful. So we'll post that for Valentine's Day for you, okay? And hopefully Faye and I, if I can get Faye to do a special with me, Faye and I will talk about love coming up. All right. So free yourself from spiritual distractions. Okay. Stop chasing trends and external figures for validation. You have the power within. Go inwards. Take a look at all the garbage that's not you. Clean it out. You do not need more stuff. XI is literally a cleansing concept. But by the way, exponential intelligence. Some people go through the process and it's like, gosh, this just kind of feels like no. It's because you have to peel away the distortions of who you are, okay? And that's the painful space, okay? If God came in and pulled you into heaven, right? Basically, it's the same thing. Okay, to go to heaven, what do you have to do to stay there? You have to peel away your bullshit that you're not. Now, if you're like 90% bullshit, you know, your love definitions are all messed up. How you honor what you think is a good person, and all those, distortions, ill definitions, not first principle definitions. Those things got to get cleaned out. So even if God came through and it's like, gosh, you know what? I love you so much. I'm going to pull you here to the higher level. You will burn up with the purity of love because your distortions are frying you. Right? It's not God's love that fries you. Be aware of that. Right? This is where people go, God's mad at you and God's this. If anybody says that, it's not pure. Right? Again, God does not have emotional, human emotions. It's very, very different. Right? As a note, coming up with a new book. Hopefully, it's going to be out by June. Finally, guys, I've got a book out. It's about, I don't know what we're calling it, but it's about redefining a lot of words that destroy this reality. Right? Helps you become exponentially intelligent. All right. So again, stabilize your consciousness. Operate from clarity, truth, and inner autonomy, unaffected by misleading influences. You want to step into your true wisdom, not intelligence, not knowledge, but wisdom. Right? Wisdom is applied knowledge, or wisdom is applied intelligence. Right? You want to do that. Uh, Wisdom and sovereignty. Move beyond illusions and into a higher state of self-actualization. That's all you were here for. That's what those religions teach you. Self-actualization. Self-actual, yeah. Self-actualization is an intimate connection between your physical self and then a higher frequency of who you are. That's it. No dogmas, nothing in between. That's what self actualization is. So that's what you want. All right. Hopefully, this episode has elevated you to a new level of discernment and self mastery. Okay. Again, comment in and like this. We'll go into if there's any spiritual teachers that you want me to read, I'll just read them. Again, I probably don't know any of these individuals, spiritual, motivational teachers, anything like that. Oh, mm, yeah. The last thing, by the way, the last thing is that have you ever noticed nowadays that St. Leo, yeah. Have you ever noticed nowadays that ancient wisdom is coming up, right? People are like going to Egypt, going here, going there. It's like, God, we got to resurrect the ancient mystic knowledge. You do not want to do that, guys. So again, do not follow the group think. Okay. Uh, I'm not saying not go to those places or think about those places, but have you ever in the movies, where somebody opens up a tomb, and if they open up a tomb, uh, if they open up a tomb and then the evil spirit will comes over and takes over, right? You've seen those movies. Okay, so that's what's happening nowadays. Really, people are going, God, we got to go back and like do meditations and so on in the pyramids, and especially nowadays because the time is right. It's and this is what I'll be talking about in my Egypt and China tour. Literally, it's like you do not want to go to those places and then resurrect the dead, right? Because you don't know what you're resurrecting. You're most likely you're on some psychedelic or something like that. You're in this fucking pyramid, you don't know what's there, and you're going, yes, take over me. And you feel euphoric, just like you do in those churches. You feel euphoric. It's like, whoa, that feels good. Well, shit, they just pulled the shit, your essence out of you, and then resurrected their frequencies, timeless frequencies, back into physical, say, a physical presence. So you will be the conduit. So you want to do it right. That's why I'm going to Egypt, um, um, personal tour, Egypt, China this time around, going with a group, just cleaning that frequency up for future dwellers that go to Egypt, future tourists that go to Egypt. So it's a pure frequency for you. But join me on my journey. Right? What we're going to do, we're going to do an initiation call to get you into that space, and then if we have internet, we'll do live meditations there, and you can feel the frequencies before, you can feel the frequencies after. We did that on a church in um where did we do that? In where did we gosh in Spain, not Spain. Where does Zeus want to go? What's his name? Oh, anyway, we did this in church in Europe, and we went in there. We felt the darkness. Okay, um, we felt the darkness, and then we cleaned it up, and you could literally see the difference, even in the pictures, like before and after pictures. It's crazy. So that's what we're gonna do. So join me. Right? Again, if we have internet connection, you can join me live on the meditation. Not exactly know what time the meditation is, so just be aware of that. Again, this is just straight out raw, okay? Journeys, and then if not, we'll do the recording so you can feel the frequencies. We'll do that for Egypt and China. So take a look at that as well, guys. And then you want to do it right, especially if you're planning a trip to places like Egypt or in China, where you go into these monasteries and so on like that. All right. All right. So if they're Barcelona, thanks, Glenn. Sometimes when you get on a roll, is Mecca a holy? Ooh, is Mecca is holy? People, yeah. Well, Mecca used to be holy. Okay, but again, places like that. I'm glad you bring that up. So Mecca used to be holy, but I recently took a look at the pictures and all the darkness, and you go there or places like that, and it's like, well, fuck, why did so many people die in the fires or whatever it was, years ago? It should be a holy place, and you're right, it is, but Mecca sits on, say, a frequency vortex, and it's very, very pure. But here, but what happens is the vortex magnifies you. So but people don't know how to, so Mecca is pure in its essence. The people going there don't know how to disconnect from the distortions of who they are. So Mecca does the proper place of, again, cleansing you, just like many other places do, right? Like the Dead Sea and so on like that. It's a cleansing place. But then people don't know, and this is where XI comes in. People don't know how to disconnect from it. They think just praying and just going to Mecca. It's like, well, I went there. It's like, yeah, but you didn't do it right. So Mecca gives you the vortex to cleanse yourself, the possibilities. It's kind of like Burning Man. People going to Mecca, right? It's the same thing, literally different frequencies. You've got the process of cleansing, and then you have to like cleanse yourself. You have to acknowledge that you're whatever, and you want to disconnect, but most people do not know how to disconnect, right? So Mecca gives you the power source, like many places do, but people don't know how to wash their own dishes, let's say, and they fuck it up, and all the dirt just cycles, and then other people catch that dirt. Okay, so it's whether it's Mecca, whether shit, it's like a big convention with thousands of people, that release all their bullshit, whether it's a ceremony. You want to watch out. Again, the frequencies are there for you to cleanse. You want to be exponentially intelligent to use those places to cleanse yourself. Okay, I get a lot, even like a Tony Robbins, like UPW. I think, is it UPW, where they come in. It's like, holy shit. People walk out of there. It's like, yeah, that's great, but then afterwards, their life gets. It's the same thing, guys. Exact same thing. It doesn't really matter. Okay. All right. Somebody was asking about Teal Swan. Wants to do a conversation with Teal Swan. Exactly. So Teal Swan, she's got really good content. She knows Teal Swan, again, highly intelligent. The logistics are all the same. The science is almost the same. She sees it from a different perspective. She sees it from an abuse perspective. So again, Teal Swan, very great teacher, very great knowledge, but she's got something about her. So her knowledge is connected to abuse. So basically, the more knowledge she entertains, basically, it's like for every ounce of knowledge that I want, I have to say abuse myself or get disoriented for like, an ounce. So it's like an ounce per ounce, for example. Okay. So the more knowledge she wants, the more abusive distortions that she gets on the inside, internally or within her group. So again, great content, but how did you access that content? Did you sacrifice yourself? Did you get abused to access that content? Because if you did, it's not going to be beneficial for you. Okay. So you want to watch out for that. Again, she's got great content. Learn to separate her content or knowledge and the frequencies behind it. All right. All right. Angela, Jerry Sargent. He's the guy. Oh my God, he's at this expo. All right, so Jerry, super cool guy. You know, he came up and talked to me. He's the guy that actually goes, hey, you know, you should come do a retreat. So again, he is a searcher. He's got some good abilities. He's a searcher though, and sometimes he's got the physicalness. This is where Jerry, I would think, is kind of like some people who do XI, they go to a certain level and then they have it's a crossroad. Okay. As Jerry gets more and more popular, is he going to stay and maintain, say, his integrity? Okay. That's the key. He needs to become exponentially intelligent and become because like, nope, I don't want to sell myself out. Because he's let's just say he's got kind of a dark physical past. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But as you clean yourself out, as you go to higher levels, what you want to do is like, I need to leave the past behind because it's not just your personal physical past. You have to cleanse like 10, 20, 40. So it depends on how pure you are compared to did you cleanse yourself out all the way to say the origin of mankind. That's where you want to get to. So again, Jerry is a good guy, super nice guy, but we need to help stabilize him and help him to so he can just go towards say the right path rather than going this is where ego gets driven in, right? Because he wants to go to the next level. Mark Zuckerberg and all those people, right? Same thing. They want to go to the next level. They want to make $1 billion, right? You as well. Whatever your next level is, it's like, what are you going to pay for that next level? So people sacrifice their essence. You want to sacrifice your bullshit. That's the difference, right? So yeah, I like Jerry. He's got good potential. Right. Um, Abdi Electric Abdi. Don't know who he is. Abdi. Well, he's got digestive issues from what I'm seeing. Um, so he got his abilities or intention. There's a lot of rage in Abdi. So basically, he's had a traumatic childhood, and then what he's doing is like, he puts it's like a death space. You have such a traumatic childhood that it kind of flips you around, right? And then you see the light. But so that's a sacrificial type pattern, right? So sacrificial type patterns literally where back in the day, especially Greek times, you're being sacrificed and you know that you're going to die. Heaven opens up and you go, whoa, that's really beauty. It's really beautiful, but you know you're going to die. Does that make sense to you? So sacrificial type frequencies do open up spaces. That's where the origin comes from. Again, notice the origin of the frequencies. If you run a sacrificial pattern, so for example, you or Abdi here, um, they basically have to sacrifice. So a lot of those teachings would be sacrificial for you to like open up a space. Right? Again, the only thing you want to sacrifice is the distorted self. So you can use his techniques to go, oh, he's running sacrificial pattern. Oh, you want to sacrifice backwards, not forward. So you can use his space. Okay. Edward Mannix. Again, I don't know who he is. Edward. He seems really glitchy. He seems like alienish. So he's more like head focused and just like he's kind of like pounds into you. His frequencies literally pound into you because again they're more alien or more yeah. There's no human basically in Edward. Okay, so what Edward probably did, he just like stepped into say a space. I don't know how. I think he was sick as a child, from what I'm sensing, or something like somebody or him. He was sick as a child, and he stepped into his space, allowed him to cure himself, or something to that effect. And now he's kind of like disoriented. He's disjointed. He's got this reality where he gets his gifts and so on, and then human reality. So again, it's good intent, but you can go there, but again, just kind of watch out. Hillary Faye, ooh, no. Hillary Faye is more of a seductive type frequency. Okay, so Hillary Faye. Okay, so this is interesting. So Hillary Faye, and maybe I'll just read all these people rather than reading you all. So Hillary Faye, she's a okay. So she needs help. Okay, just imagine that she's getting sucked into a vortex. Okay, or somebody is like holding on to her. All right, and basically what she does is like, hey, you know what? Please help me, please help me. And she could be beautiful, she's got great frequencies, and basically it's like a damsel in distress, but at a very high order. Okay, this is would be um again, like say a dark source, sticking her Hillary out here as say a trap, literally. It's just like, oh, come here. And then as soon as you come into that space, she actually wants help to get pulled out of that space. But but what happens is the force behind her is so strong that you get attracted to her, and then she'll get further back. Okay, so it's kind of like that frequency, but in reality, she's a kind person, but underlying intentions, that's the frequency that she has. So literally she is seeking for help by others, going, please help me get rid of this guy behind me. Okay? I want to say it's like human trafficking type frequencies, right? Somebody's going, please help me, this guy, and they can't get away. It feels like that to me. Okay, could be wrong, guys, but um, uh, Bruno Gurning, Bruno, he's okay. He seems more like earth bound. Yeah, he seems more earthbound. So so the logistics of decay, the logistics of how nature works, but a very rudimentary basic of how nature works. So you kind of want to watch out for that because you're beyond nature. So he'll pull you into the natural states, but then you'll have to go through decay and so on, the way nature does it. And again, you're a human, so you want to separate yourself from that. Abdi, Dr. Bert, Elizabeth April, Edward Mannix, Elizabeth April. Elizabeth comes from a death space. So her, if you look at her, especially those who are high XIQ, this part of her, like her heart space, all the way down her groin, and then her left side is of a death space. So you've got physical, and then you got the physical space density, and then level one space, which is basically death. You can't carry your body there. So she basically had some experience. Her mom, was basically dying. Seems like, or somebody, or grandma, or somebody feminine. Could be her dad, but again, a feminine frequency. And they died and kind of pulled Elizabeth into their death space. So now Elizabeth exists from. Um, Imagine a curtain, death, life. So basically, Elizabeth looks at both sides, and that's where she gets her abilities. So again, good, but you want to watch out because her knowledge will pull you into the death space. It's not what they're saying that's coming out of their mouth, but the frequencies behind it. It's just how we learn. Okay. Um, where was this one? Let's see. Barbara O'Neill. She's actually good. Barbara, if I'm thinking about the health lady, right? She gets a little crazy a little bit because she gets so much into the frequencies of nature that you lose human identity. Okay. An extreme version of this is people who love cats so much, they start edifying a cat versus humans. Does that make sense to you? And I can see why Barbara is like that. She's got great content, great knowledge. I use some of her not tinctures, but her recipes and so on like that. Really fantastic. So again, really great knowledge, but you want to watch out because it's like humans are fucked up. I'm gonna go be nature. That's the problem, right? Humans are fucked up. I'm gonna just morph into a cat, but you're a human. It just fuzzies or furries or in today's the kids nowadays with that issue. Okay, I'm not saying Barbara's like that. Okay, but a very say you know, an extreme version would be furries, for example, or fuzzies, or these kids. They don't like to be human. It's like, fuck, human society is fucked up. I'm going to be a cat, or whatever they want to be. Okay. Barbara's like, human society is fucked up. I'm going to learn the truth. And then she got into that knowledge so deeply, and that now she disassociates with, say, human frequencies. But again, very, very beautiful person. Okay. Saima, ooh, kind of get chills from there. So Saima, she comes from really dark ancient origins. Um, I see a lot of, I see a big pot. So a lot of back in the day, maybe not her, but back in the day, they used to do a lot of rituals, a lot of dark. Whenever you're doing rituals and seances and edifying again physical features, or sacrificing fruit or whatever fruit, animals, and then now people, you don't want to do that. So you want to be watch out for that. We'll just do one more. Aaron Doherty. Aaron, very nice intent. Very nice intent. He's more just intellectual, so he doesn't. Mm, so um, he's like those teachers that have the knowledge, not the knowledge, but the intelligence, like the principles, and they extrapolate that, but they don't have the frequency behind it. So basically, this is like kind of like a Wayne Dyer situation. Again, I'm not saying Aaron's like alcoholic or abusive, anything like that. But basically, it's like they've got really, really good knowledge, but then they don't practice. That knowledge didn't turn into wisdom. Say that they don't breathe that knowledge. Okay, all right. So so again, there's a lot of great teachers out there. Always clean out what I do, by the way, and this is what I teach people in healing mastery. Is literally it's like teach somebody, but keep your bullshit in your space. Right? Just teach them the pure essence, and that's what you want. Okay, Sadhguru. We'll do one last. Sadhguru. Again, he is a seer type. He has no practical application. Okay, and that's where so you ask Sadhguru a question. Sadhguru feels like this grandmotherly type feel, not even a grandfather, but a grandmotherly type feel that goes, honey, you know what? Everything is love and light, and just love yourself, and love God, and all you'll be okay. Literally, that's what Sadhguru is. Again, he sees that stuff, right? And he goes, God, that's really beautiful. But then he doesn't show you how to the logistics on, well, I want to go there, Saad. It's like, yeah, it's just beautiful though, isn't it? And he's kind of like stuck in that space. So he doesn't have the logistics on, say, taking you to that space. Okay, guys. All right. All right, guys. It's been fantastic. Thanks for being here. Again, subscribe and like this channel. Tell your friends about it. Tell people about it. Right? Thank you so much. There's plenty of others that we can read, and maybe some other time we can go into that. All right. All right, guys. As always, notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing. As a note, we're here at LA Expo, so come on down. I'm doing a talk. If you're in the LA area, I'm doing a talk. And then also towards the end of March will be Guardians of the Galaxy. It's kind of a fun expo. Good friend of mine just joined in. Really, really fun. That's going to be in Sedona, right? So come on out in Sedona, end of March, guys. It's going to be a fantastic time. Again, crazy people out there, aliens and all that stuff, but who cares, right? We can have a good time no matter where we are because we're XIers. All right, guys. As always, notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing. All right, peace.